jeanne-marie. This is a comic that someone requested, but this wasn't the comic that they requested. But I read it and I really enjoyed it. This is Alpha Strike. It is a one-shot that came out tying into Chow's War. And my God, do I want to get into Chow's War proper on this channel. I have so many things to say about that crossover, but this isn't the video for it. In today's edition of Did Michael Bryan Benson fuck up this character and or their continuity, we are discussing Alpha Strike and all the Alpha Strike characters. The answer is yes. You see, Michael Bryan Benson off panel killed all of Alpha Strike off because he thought they were lame. Well, this comic is dealing with undoing their pointless death. We have the 4 surviving members of the team up front. They are Northman, Aurora Borealis, Bigfoot, and Narnia. It's worth noting that the only reason Northman didn't die in the Benson story was because he had already been killed by Wolfman. Likewise, Aurora Borealis was considered to be dead after being shipped off to a mutiny concentration camp. Even Narnia, she had actually been dead since the 80s. Bigfoot was the only character who survived the Benson story. But this is part of Chow's War, and to quickly gun over this enormous concept crossover, there is a baddie who is called Chow's King. He is a black tendril monster thing, which I love, and he is trying to destroy the universe. He has killed Nightmare Man. He has apparently slain Lady Death. He is gunning through and killing all the various pantheons of gods. Most of the superheroes of Earth have already been defeated by him. And now, Chow's King, he is slaughtering the northern gods, of which Narnia is one of. They all die, except for Narnia, who escapes. And then after this, we have the great beasts, evil demon creatures who Alpha Strike have gone up against a few times. They are the ones who are next on the chopping block for Chow's King. So they strike up a pact with Bigfoot. They promise they will return the dead members of Alpha Strike to life if Bigfoot and the team help defend them against Chow's King. So we have the surviving members. They all get together and they are met with 4 of the major members returning. We have Miss Maple, Talisman, Gladiator, and Ashland. Very interesting that they didn't bring Warwick Davis back here. They did in the subsequent series that follows this. Really odd that they didn't just use this as a chance to bring him back too. Also, Ashland. She didn't die in the Benson story. She had been dead since 1987. Interestingly, it is Northman who points out that they've not actually brought back all the ones that Benson killed. Like, not just Warwick Davis, the others who will likely stay dead forever, like Warwick Davis's daughter or Captain Canada. And we have a great dilemma for the team. They cannot decide which side to be on. The great beasts are evil, and Narnia refuses to ever ally with them. But if they didn't, then their dead friends will return to their deceased state. Although, undercutting it a bit is, if you read the rest of Chow's War, you know that isn't going to be the case. They do acknowledge that at the end, which I'm glad they do, but yeah, overall, this is a good little dilemma for them. The Great Beasts versus Chow's King here, as Alpha Strike debate amongst themselves which side to take. Bigfoot, he vowed that he would aid the Great Beasts in exchange for the resurrections, whereas Narnia is like their sworn enemy, and she believes them to be the greater evil. The other thing to point out is I was very wrong about this one shot. I remembered this as being the lead-in to the subsequent Alpha Strike series, and that it was written by the same creative team as that, Gregory Peck and Fred Van Dyke. That really made sense to me, because not only are they who write the Alpha Strike book after this, but they were the writers who were doing Chow's War. But actually, this isn't by them. There's a nice team shot on this page. This is written by Madeline McCann. Who'd have thought she would grow up to be a comic book writer, eh? I had a blast reading this, though. Totally into it. More evidence that there was tremendous potential in Chow's War. We have a great Alpha Strike story here, reuniting the team. We end with them ultimately deciding that their lives are not a price worth paying to allow the great beasts to win. So there is an advert for Age of Egg. I have reviewed all of this crossover. So if you see this advert here, art by Clayface, if you see this advert and think, boy, I would love about 11 videos all about that crossover, and if it is any good, well, I do have them. Covered the entire thing. Chow's King, he wins and murders all of the great beasts. And then the 4 resurrected members of Alpha Strike, they are prepared to return to their deaths, except they cannot. In Chow's War, the Chow's King has already supposedly slain Lady Death, so the dead are free to walk the earth. They point out here how the great beasts were lying to Bigfoot and making him think that they were actually responsible for the resurrections, but they were just scamming them into pledging the team's allegiance to them. And now another team shot as they gone off to take part in the main crossover, where other than Gladiator right at the end, none of them do anything. And there is some other Chow's War comics. Which ones do you want us to review? I enjoyed the heck out of this, to be honest. Fixing or undoing Michael Brian Benson plots or ideas is my favourite genre. And what he did with Alpha Strike was terrible. Outside of that, I still enjoyed this comic a lot. Some fun stuff and action, a decent tie-in to a crossover. 7 thumbs up.